Salutations, everyone. I am Ignatius J., the artist and the author. I am the author of Two Baby Mamas, an Ex-Wife, and an Ex-Boyfriend. Now What's Next? My very first book that's available on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble. I also have other books that I have written that are available on Barnes& and Noble and Amazon as well. Ignatius J., what you got to say? What you got to say? Well, today is Saturday. It's Saturday evening, and I'm just chillaxing at my crib. And I did a post earlier about ASAP Rocky and Rihanna, a post that had came down my timeline on social media that I wanted to elaborate on, and I did. So be sure to check out that video and like it, comment. Also, your comments are very welcome. I appreciate it. Appreciate the feedback. This is part two of that video. And I'm doing a part two because I want to discuss how I believe, how I felt in previous relationships as far as who's loving who more. you know, yeah, my very first relationship, major relationship, I should say, with my first children's mother, which was my high school sweetheart. And once again, I've written about my relationships in my book. Um, Four crucial relationships that I experienced. I don't know if I want to use the word crucial, but very important relationships in my life that molded me into who I am today. Because I started off in this first relationship with my first children's mother. I was about 18 years old. 17 going on 18. We were high school sweethearts, all that good stuff. And so who's loving who more? Um, I believe I loved her more, actually. And I believe that because I pursued her. I pursued her. When I first saw her in high school, I had told my best friend at the time that she was going to be my wife. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. They say that men um, see it with their eyes. We're visual creatures. They say men are visual creatures. I guess we are. When I saw her, I just saw this beautiful caramel complexion girl with a nice length of hair, beautiful hazel eyes, and I wanted to get with her. That's all I knew. And of course, being young and dumb, I did a lot of things to annoy her and irritate her to get her attention. Because I guess some attention was better than no attention, and I wanted that attention. And, and I pursued her. So I'll go back to that. So the second relationship that I established after after that one, um, I was about 27 years old, going on 28, I believe, when I met my now ex-wife, and she basically pursued me, but I wouldn't emphasize on pursue that much because once I realized that she wanted to get with me, um, I was like, I was with it. I was with it. Even though I was talking to another young lady at the time, and that's what I get. I got what I got. She pursued me, and so I was with it, and we got together and we got married, and we were, you know, basically two wolves in sheep clothing. And the third relationship um, was with my son's mom. And I met her in the military, and she basically pursued me. She was in a relationship at the time. I didn't think anything of it about getting with her because she was in a relationship. And so I was going on my merry way, being single and having parties in my barracks and turning up and drinking and all that good stuff as soldiers do, and that's what I did. I did what soldiers did at that time, having a good time. And she gave me that, "What's up?" And I was like, "Well, what's up?" And we got together. And so I don't know if I would qualify that as her loving me more. She just knew what she wanted. But I think she did love me before I really fell in love with her. And by the time I fell in love with her, I had did so much dirt, she didn't want me no more. So on to the next one. When I met my ex-boyfriend, my now ex-boyfriend, um, I was going through a horrible time in life at that point. Um, didn't realize I was an alcoholic. My mom had just passed away, and I met him maybe a little less than a year after the anniversary of her death. On a drunken night, I drove to McDonald's. Yeah, I know, drinking and driving. I don't do that shit no more. Um, so yeah, I met him when I went to McDonald's, and I can kind of tell he had some sugar in his tank. um, by the way he was speaking to me through the speaker and everything. So anyway, I got up there to the window, saw who he was. I was like, yeah, I knew it. I guess they say your gaydar or whatever, but went off or whatever. But I asked him to. Well, actually, I wrote no. What I told him to put his number in the bag with my food. That's what I did. I told him to put his number in the bag with my food, and he did so, and we linked up. And I wouldn't say it was like a love at first sight or anything like that. As I said, I was going through a lot back then because my mom had just passed, and I was drinking every day, and I was grieving. So I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot. But we built something, and I fell in love with him. And I'm pretty sure at first he didn't fall in love with me right away, or we fell in love with one another right away, but we continued to spend a lot of time with one another and got to know one another. And I think we both fell in love. And then it dissolved. More about it in my book. Two baby mamas, an ex-wife, and an ex-boyfriend. All right, so going back to the first love in high school sweetheart. Yeah, I pursued her, and I don't want to say I was infatuated or anything like that, but it was just young love. It was young love, and we became adults together, and that the termination of that relationship was devastating to me. And I wrote a lot of things on my Facebook page about relationships and the breakups and the grief that you go through afterwards, the feeling of loneliness and abandonment, and so on. But yeah, I believe I loved her more, and eventually she fell in love with me, and the relationship after a point dissolved. Find out about it in my book, Two Baby Mamas, an Ex-Wife, and an Ex-Boyfriend. You can also follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and YouTube. And I appreciate you guys' support and love, peace, and happiness. And I hope today is in your favor. I believe it is in your favor. It's in mine. Until the next time, Ignatius J said what Ignatius J had to say.